Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pro Wrestling World Talks with Dan and Mack.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to PWW Talks. I am your host, Daniel Burke, and we are on the road to Wrestlemania 41. We are less than 3 weeks. Well, I guess 3 weeks away. 2 weeks away, I guess, from the time of this recording, to be quite honest. And last week, I would like to thank Steph for being on the program. As Mack, my usual co-host, was on assignment. Mack, thank you again for coming back. Welcome back to the program. And there is something that you would like to share. So I am giving you the time to share what you want. You're on the program. It's sharing time, everybody. So go ahead, my friend.
I feel it would be easier to record this prior because I'm sure it's going to come up in conversation anyways. For anybody that, first of all, was wondering about last week and why there was no show, that was my fault. I don't really discuss my personal life on the air anymore or on the show anymore because it's been a rough year. I feel like this time, though, I have an obligation to do so. I do have to be mindful, however, as I discuss this, that I respect the fact that this is a somewhat private matter. In saying that, please forgive me if I don't really go into too much detail, but I think people might be able to learn from my mistakes because for the last year, I've made mistakes. Unfortunately, these mistakes hurt people around me. They hurt people that I claimed that I loved. And in doing so, I've lost that love and I've lost their respect. And they are incredibly disappointed in me. These are the people that I love most in the world, too. And that sucks. On top of that, I was also a coward about it. Because instead of addressing these mistakes head on, I hid them. Unfortunately, my mistakes recently were shoved into the spotlight. I really deeply regret that it came to that. I'm not angry at the person who did it. I am just distraught that my own cowardice prevented me from doing the right thing and admitting to my mistakes in the first place. I've been carrying these thoughts and this guilt around for a while. And it's been hard to not only be silent about it, but also not let it fester. What I had to start doing, however, as painful as it may be, was to see it as an opportunity. I had to grow. I had to become more patient. I had to become more humble. I wanted to be somebody that, despite my mistakes, would learn from them and would commit to long-term sustainable change. I had to do this while also realizing that my mistakes would probably cost me those people that I cared most about. But in making mistakes, we grow, we evolve. And I had to commit to that growth, to be something more, to be something better. Because more than anything, despite not admitting those mistakes, they still weighed heavy on my conscience and my heart. And I knew at one point regardless of how this truth would come out, I had to face that reckoning. Part of growing and part of changing starts with admitting you were wrong, admitting that you made those mistakes, being accountable for the things that you did. Whether that accountability starts right away, after a while, or just somebody forces it upon you. Be accountable. It's also about trying to make up for your mistakes, though. Not because you feel guilty, not because all of a sudden you feel bad, not because somebody ratted you out, whatever the case may be, do it because it's right. You just do it. And you don't give up. You don't get mad when it's thrown in your face. Because if you do give up, if you do get mad about it, you haven't grown. You haven't changed. With that being said, I'm here to tell anyone that wants to change, don't give up. If you're attempting to change due to mistakes you've made, or because you don't like who you are, no matter what it is, especially though if it's from a mistake that you made, you may not get what you want. You may not be forgiven. But the end result of all of this is that even if you don't get what you want, you're going to walk out a better person that you walked in from. To those I've hurt, I'm truly sorry. I really am. To those that I've disappointed, again, I'm truly sorry. I am. I don't say this next part out of pity or looking for sympathy. I say it because it's true. That the person I have hurt and disappointed the most is myself. Dan, you and I have been friends for over 20 years. I know I disappointed you too. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that my actions have affected you as well. I know I have apologized to you about 20 times at this point. I know you said the apology is not necessary, but it is. And I'm sorry. I just want to say that I deeply regret my actions. Not because I got caught, but because my actions hurt the people that I love. And whatever I can do to begin to make up for it, I'm going to do it. Whatever I can do to earn even a granule of trust or forgiveness back to make things right, I'll do it. Because all of that is not given. It's earned. Through actions, not through words. And despite the words that I speak right now, I'm hopeful that this could be one of those actions to show what I mean. Because being real for a minute, I never thought I'd be recording a video for a podcast where I am basically telling the internet a vague retelling of my misdeeds and calling myself a coward. But here we are. But maybe I don't get that chance to prove that I've changed, to prove how sorry I am, to try to make things right. And if I don't get that chance, that sucks. That really sucks. However, I would have to accept that because I did mess up. I did make mistakes. But I want to close by thanking the people that have stood by me. I know I've disappointed you too. I know you do not condone any of the mistakes that I have made, but your support is appreciated and it's not gone unnoticed. I also want to thank the listeners who continue to listen to this program that has given me this wonderful platform where I can not only share these feelings, but hope that maybe my story and its vagueness has helped you in some way to understand that people can really change for the better, and bettering yourself, is a long-term journey that you have to commit to. But in the meantime, let's talk about wrestling.
Yeah!
It's very few times in my broadcasting career where I'm kind of at a loss for words. And I've been on this. That coming into this program tonight, I was very, very difficult. Let's just say that. And this is, I don't want to touch too much on it, but at the same time, I feel like I need to now that it is out in the open. It was a very difficult to come onto this program tonight, and I have been doing forms of broadcasting in my career since I've been 18 years old. So this is 23 years. Actually, I could go back 24 because I really started at 17 in high school. And it was difficult because of everything that Mack has touched on, which I commend him for being honest and forthcoming with, unfortunately, poor choices that were made on his part. And we could forget the peanut gallery for a second. Unfortunately, I'm trying not to laugh here. It's hard. It is hard. It is hard to the people that are involved. And I'm not the one person that's involved. Well, actually, there's two people, but I don't know. But going back with the one person that is involved in this situation that is directly affected, I feel terrible for. And yeah. And I am in a very lucky situation where, and there have been past relationships where they have dictated people that I support and people that I have been friends with. I am in a very lucky situation that I am with someone that never, ever came up with a thought of abandoning someone that I have been friends with for over 20 years, and I will continue to.
He sucks right now.
Yeah. And I think he can take that and say right now he thinks like he can take that now with, because he's got to remember that she's Sicilian, and especially when they have Sicilian Alzheimer's when they get older, they only remember the grudges. So
Because
that's one thing. So that's one thing that he's gonna have to compare. And I don't mean it's not a laughing situation, but I need to bring some levity to this situation, only because of the fact that I've been walking around with it feels like to use the Ferris Bueller line, I had a coal up my ass all goddamn day having to do this show because of the fact of the elephant that was in the fucking room. And I give it to Mack to being just completely open and honest, and just now where I can say the gloves are off but at the same time, the gag is off, where I don't have to sit here and try to not talk about the elephant that's been in the room. I am somewhat now relieved because it's just like a weight and kind of levity has been able to reach it. So for that, I thank him for being able to kind of be forthcoming and saying, and being able to now make myself be able to now focus again, but also at the same time, his kind words to me and apologizing for his actions. This is very, and Steph appreciates it as well, I believe. Yeah. Honey, we're trying to do a show here. But we love you. We both love you. Yeah, I love you. Don't get mad at me now. I love you. Just go to bed, folks. Oh, shit. We got off light compared to what it could be. Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, rare.
The fact is that yeah, sometimes in life you just in a situation that you know what you have to do, and you just got to have the balls to do it. And I was in a similar situation in my marriage, and what I'm not. You're not. No positive. This is. I'm just explaining the similar situation I dealt with. It has nothing to do with you, because you're fine.
Because I'm not booked.
I'm not talking about you. I swear. It is nothing negative that I'm talking about. It's negative, but it doesn't involve you. I swear. I swear it's negative, but it doesn't involve you.
Oh, shit.
All right, honey. I love you. Go to bed, please.
Smoke.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
What the fuck is that?
I've dealt with a similar situation where it's like, you need to speak up because you know this isn't working. You need to speak up because you know this isn't working. And I didn't. And you got to go in front of the judge. Fuck. All right. Good. Because.
Oh, shit.
Because I got in a much better and a healthier situation. Like the relationship that I'm currently in and the marriage that it's going to be is the much better scenario in life, the greater scenario that I could possibly think of. It makes me believe in love and great relationships actually do exist.
I mean, listen. At the end of the day, I had to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It was the right thing to do. It still feels like the right thing to do, having done it. You mentioned something that I just want to touch on real quick. I should have communicated things, but when I look back, I don't look back in anger. I don't look back in frustration. I look back in sadness now because I did really have a good relationship before I fucked it up. And that is 100% why I feel the way I feel about when I said I would do anything to make it right. Because I would. Not because I got caught. Not because I fucked up. Not because of any other reason other than that's what I want. And as I said, it's if that can't happen now, that can't happen now. And that is going to suck. But I have to accept that. So it is, unfortunately,
What
as
it
they
is.
say, what it is. Yep.
Yeah, and it's I, I we both at one time or another, you're not the only guy in that position.
You're right, but
It's just
I have to grow from it.
I know.
Regardless of the outcome, I have to continue to grow from it, and I have to continue to learn from it.
I love you.
Doing it for you.
What?
That opening your door.
Oh, I was just kissing you.
Yeah, I saw it back, but
All right. Yes, I know, but she's gonna stay there and just stare at me.
she likes to see her daddy.
I know. I love you.
Love you. Damn it. Good night.
You're the one that's been trying to go to bed for 20 minutes. I mean, what the fuck is that? Good Lord. Good cameo tonight, though. Did you listen to her episode at least? Because, did you at least listen to it? I'm asking legitimately, Mac. Her review of WrestleMania. The poor woman. It did do pretty well. I was looking at the views, and it was staying consistent with our normal ones. I was like, oh, great. Yeah, but that was actually a lot of fun.
Hold on,
being
I'm
able
sorry.
to do that.
I didn't realize
Yeah.
I was muted, but yeah, I didn't see it yet. But what WrestleMania was it?
The first one,
Oh God,
because it was the 40th anniversary.
God.
Yeah, and then she watched the war to settle the score because it's like
Oh
there was no highlight
God.
packages then.
No, I know. But
So
still.
I was like, honey, you really got to know what's going on in the main event. So I got to show you the war to settle the score, and yeah, but it was hilarious hearing her commentate the David Sammartino and Brutus Beefcake match, because which is considered probably the worst match in Mania history, in my opinion.
It's up
The
there.
worst.
It's up
And she's just like, this is awful. Like, what are they doing? And it's just, there's so many rest holds in that match. It's so bad. It is so, like, I think Beefcake has got a case to probably be one of the worst match performers of Mania history.
Hey, don't say that in front of Terry.
Well, come on. Terry doesn't care because he was his fucking bag handler, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
But like it would, and then I did find out something else that makes me laugh my ass off.
God, what?
She hates all the 2 counts in a match. The
I
more
knew that
2
already.
counts,
You don't remember that?
the more 2 counts in a match, she hates it. She
don't remember
just
that?
fucking drives her nuts. No, I remember it, but at the same time, it's like she like completely confirmed it on air, like where she's just like, I hate the 2 counts. I was just like. So she's like, I'm like, I can't show her any of the Ric Flair Steamboat matches. I can't show her. Well, she doesn't want to see anything with Ric Flair involved anyway.
Because she doesn't want
to
to watch, Dan. Like, she doesn't want to sit there and actually watch the matches. Like,
No.
She wants them to, like, end, basically.
We were talking tonight, though, because she said, like, so what are you going to talk about tonight? And I said, and of course, it's just like, it's like, I just look at her because I'm just like, but I knew we were going to be talking about, the road to WrestleMania, and of course with the John Cena heel turn and how that's progressing. And of course WWE is pushing the narrative of how this is still the greatest heel turn of all time and how they did at the time. We talked about it a few weeks ago at Gold Standard. And
Yeah, it's just not, though.
And it's just I've seen
good.
three back and forth promos. Does not make this.
No, you haven't.
know.
You haven't.
No,
You've seen one back and forth promo, and it was this week.
Yes,
Because the other 2 are him speaking for 20 minutes to the crowd, Cody
Yep.
coming out for 5 minutes and saying shit to him, and there's no back and forth. This week we finally got a back and forth.
And I mean, it was because John is great at those biting comments. But I really thought, and if you're an educated wrestling fan, which I love it when people are just like, oh, he cooked him with that comment of stealing Tony Khan's money. Folks, if you don't realize that Cody Rhodes was the glue that was holding that fucking thing together, you can go back to the beginning of 2002, and then you can, but also you can look at 19, 20, 21, and the beginning of 2022, and then you can look at the last 6 months of 2022 and come to me and say that he was stealing his money. Because he was one of the few guys in that company that was trying to make it competitive, and at one point was a superior product to WWE.
As you
And it's because of Cody Rhodes.
100%. As you were saying that, in my mind, I was thinking of because you said you could see the pinpoint, right? All I can think of is Bart rewinding the tape of Ralph Wiggum. Look,
Yeah.
you can see exactly when his heart breaks. And
But
that's Tony Khan.
I thought when Cody hit him back with well, you were handpicked by the guy anyways that nobody can talk about.
Yeah.
And then he mentioned, oh, yeah, he built an empire for a billionaire. No, that was fucking Roman. You were the guy in between Austin and Roman that just maintained. Okay, yeah, we're keeping the lights on. Thanks, John. But again, you didn't meet the ratings of Austin did, and you haven't met the ratings of what Roman did, because everybody came back because of Roman Reigns. And the two major things that chased everybody away between 2001 and like 2021 was the Stone Cold Steve Austin heel turn, and then,
We don't talk about that.
which we don't want to talk about, should never be mentioned again. And whenever anybody talks about, like, compares it, it's like, no, it's not one of the greatest heel turns of all times. It's one of the greatest twists in Mania history at the end.
Yep.
But, and Austin has admitted it. He should have just dropped the stunner on McMahon as soon as it was over, which everybody would have went home happy instead of everybody just going. I remember watching that and thinking to myself, they literally just jumped the shark on the greatest fucking Mania of all time. Of like, how can you end it this way? Because this doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yep.
And I was talking to Steph about the John Cena heel turn, and she's just like, this doesn't make any sense because he doesn't need to do it.
Listen, I'm not going to agree or disagree, but here's what I'll say. I personally think that it's not bad, right? I just, the first, and this is part of the problem with the Road WrestleMania this year, I feel like, right, is it's not bad, but it's only now this week, I feel like, actually started to cook and make sense.
Yeah, no, and I completely
don't
agree
mean
with
just
everybody
that.
else on
Right.
that. It's just, well, it's the Jey Uso and the
Exactly.
Gunther thing kick in, and then,
Yep.
but the Rhea Ripley shit, just throw it in the fucking garbage.
I don't even want to say. So hold on, I don't want to say that either. But here's what I'll say. Right, like if you didn't see a messed up finish in this match, I don't know what to tell you.
No, I saw it. Everybody saw it, but it's just.
How
They're
they went
making
about it.
Rhea Ripley's booking right now is Charlotte level, where, okay, if you don't want to do Bianca and Rhea 101, because you don't want to have one of them eat the pin,
I
or
get it.
Rhea's going to eat the pin, I don't know. Then why the fuck did you have Bianca win the goddamn Elimination Chamber? Why didn't you give it to somebody else at that point? Instead of now, it's like, oh, we're going to make it a triple threat match. Out of where? Rhea Ripley beat Io Sky legitimately. Well, no, I'm sorry. The other way around. Io Sky
yeah.
beat Rhea Ripley legitimately. There was no foul play involved. But now Rhea Ripley is just like, I'm involved. How? You lost.
Because she signed the contract that fucking she shouldn't have signed. And
Yeah,
now
but when
she's
HBK did it in
disqualified.
2004, he had a legitimate gripe. He had one because he drew that the famous last man standing match between him and Triple H was a draw. So really, he didn't lose.
Yep.
So him going into WrestleMania, he had a legitimate gripe in saying that making a triple threat match. Of course, we don't like to talk about who else was involved in that match, but you catch my drift.
I would love to if he wasn't a scumbag.
I know. And now we're in this, and I love how we were talking about the main event, and then I just thought about the Rhea Ripley thing, and I just...
No, but I mean, we can talk about it all because again, it wasn't just the main event. It was like all of Raw this week, a week of right now we're recording on 4/3, so 3:30, 3:31, whatever day it was. It was a great Raw. It progressed a lot of those storylines for the matches that we're going to see at WrestleMania, but this one sucked, right? So like Gunther and Jimmy. Having Jay come out, zip tying him to the ropes or whatever it was. Great move. Brutalized Jimmy. Okay, fine, whatever. But it progressed the storyline. That was good. Cody and Cena finally had more of a mic face-off than we've seen in the last couple of weeks. Finally progressed a little bit. Had some great one-liners out of that. Great. I was all there for it. Especially, you're my hero. But you're a shithead, or whatever the hell he said.
But you're still a piece of shit.
You're still a piece of shit. Thank you.
And it's just like, that was perfect. And then, but the final line I thought was too, hey, you were hand chosen, but then people were just like, Cody was picked by Vince too. Not originally. I wanted him to Stardust.
Yeah, but I mean, when he came back, I would say it was.
That's fair.
You could definitely say that when he came back, there were plans. What those plans were, how long it would have taken it to get to fruition had Triple H not taken over, we'll never know. But you could definitely tell the way that Vince went to his house to re-sign him. Yeah, there were plans there, but I digress. Both of these title matches had great progression. Last week, you kind of had a little bit more with Drew and Damian Priest. Cool. You had the contract signing. That was good too. And then all these matches are finally starting to cook with their storylines. And then the main event, as you jump to, that we've already kind of discussed a little bit here, didn't really do any favors with the Women's World Championship. Really didn't.
All it does is make everybody involved in the match look like an asshole. That's
Bianca's
the way
I'm done.
Yeah, it's just
what?
It makes everybody look like an asshole. That's the problem. It makes Rhea look like an asshole because it's like, you shouldn't be involved. It makes, actually, Io is not an asshole.
Because I'm not booked.
She's like the third person involved in this, and she's just like, what the fuck? And Bianca's looks like an asshole, even though she's not really the asshole. She's supposed to be the babyface. And Rhea's just insert herself in, but really makes herself look like an asshole. And again, maybe this is their thought process of trying to turn her heel, of having the fans turn against her and having her do shit that would annoy the public. Maybe that's their case, because it's tough to turn Rhea into a complete bad guy unless you just say, fuck it, and are just we'll just turn her heel into the sense of she's annoying about it, and that will get people to turn against her, because if that's what their plan is, and if that's what their thought process is, it's kind of starting to work. Because now you're starting to see this anti-Rhea build and kind of movements, because it's
I think you're seeing people that are kind of in your camp of, well, what the fuck are you doing? But at the same token, I just think that it's not as I don't know, demonstrative, whatever, as people make it out to be. Yeah, people are annoyed, but people are more annoyed with the booking decision more than they are her. She beats
That's
the crap
fair.
out of both of them at the end of the match after
That's
the
fair.
double DQ, and people are cheering the hell out of her. They didn't care. She gave a super riptide to Bianca and another riptide to Io, grabs the belt, stands over both of them. People are eating it up. It's just, I don't, listen, here's what I'll say, right? Bianca hasn't had the title in a while. She should go over. She should go over at Mania.
She should.
I get the fact that, oh, we don't want her to be undefeated at WrestleMania, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I get it, okay? I do, but who cares? She hasn't had the belt in over a year because she's been building up Jade Cargill and the women's tag division. And she's done very well with that. But now it's time to put her back in the main event. Io has held the belt more recently than she has, not including her current reign right now. So has Rhea.
Yes.
Put Bianca back in the main event. And then you can have people like Rhea go after her. Nia can go after her. Raquel Rodriguez, Gonzalez, whatever the hell she's called these days,
Liv
can
Morgan.
go after her.
Liv Morgan can
Liv
make
Morgan
it.
good too.
Liv
You can
Morgan.
make a case for that.
You
Listen.
give Bianca fresh matchups and you give Raw fresh matchups, which is desperately needed.
I agree. And another person that nobody is really talking about, save one writer that I saw this week, we still don't know how long Becky Lynch is going to be doing her filming right now. We don't know when she's coming back either. We don't know if because after Mania they seem to always do it. We don't know if there's another draft coming. Not like the drafting has mattered the last 6 months, I feel like.
It really has. It's like this. I feel like it's pretty much open season. It's just like, oh, what do you do tonight? Oh, I'm going to go to Raw.
Maybe
Okay.
on Raw.
Like, who gives a shit? It's like, Cody's supposed to be on SmackDown, but he's been on Raw. It's like, fuck's going
He's only
on?
doing that because John. Like, let's be real. Like
So then why isn't Cena doing SmackDown then if it's for the SmackDown World
I
Championship?
think it has to, because I think it has to do with his filming schedule, probably.
Of course.
That's my guess. Listen, I have no idea. It's speculation, but it makes the most sense.
Well, he's also not scheduled for television the next 2 weeks either.
Yeah,
Which-
I can't imagine why, because they're back in the States, and he's probably still overseas filming until, Saturday night, getting a flight in Sunday morning.
Cody Rhodes having to carry the fucking next 2 weeks of promotion. It's like, even though they really don't need...
Don't do that. That's what I said, remember? That's why I hated this.
Actually, they'll the last time they'll probably be able to get together is the night before Night 1 at SmackDown.
Probably. Who knows what his schedule is, though? That's the problem.
That's the annoying part. Like,
He should just do the vignettes while he's there. Do a vignette, have Cody respond to it, and then, kind of like you said, probably the SmackDown before the WrestleMania weekend, or that WrestleMania weekend, whatever you want to call it.
Or the irony is if he does via satellite. Oh my god.
Oh, I hated that shit.
I hope he does it, just to kind of the irony of it, because of... Well, it's him and Rock like sitting in the same room,
But
like
who's
doing.
to say-
That'd be hilarious.
We still don't know what that looks like either.
No.
We still don't know. And listen, the other factor here is that they're inducting WrestleMania moments now, and both Austin and Bret Hart from WrestleMania, I believe it was 13,
Correct.
is that moment, and both will be in attendance for that.
Bret Hart being the first person ever to get 3 Hall of Fame rings, and if it's to be fair, that there is no other person on the planet that should get 3 other, should be the first one than Bret.
I mean, listen, for iconic WrestleMania moments.
Did you hear his
this is
quote
great.
today? That
I
did you
feel
hear
like
his?
I heard it, but I don't.
Oh,
know what it was.
he's where he of course he
Just
so
started
he's
shitting on the product again.
no, he was talking about Hulk Hogan.
Oh,
Because Hulk Hogan said, he's like, I heard Hulk Hogan in an interview recently said that Bret Hart thinks he's the greatest wrestler in the world. And
Hey, Terry, guess what? He's right.
and Bret says, well, yeah, I guess so, because everybody's talking about me and no one's talking about him. Like, and that's, it's just, the more time goes on, the more it's just like, I don't know how I could, as a fan, just fall more in love with Bret. Like, it's just every other day. Like, there's something else I just find, or he just, well, of course, his AEW comments also got me over big.
Well, hey,
I love this guy.
Oh, hey, let me tell you something about Bill
Oh,
Goldberg.
speaking of which, Bret Hart has made a cameo on the program this week.
Oh, shit.
my WCW bashing buddy.
Oh man, I saw this video earlier. It was a joke, obviously, and it was this guy saying, when there's a fire, you grab all your belongings or your most valuable pieces, and the dude grabs like a bunch of just wrestling memorabilia, and I saw like 2 or 3 AEW pieces, and I had to start laughing at it. I would have let that burn.
Oh yeah, well there's a few like the some of the CM Punk figures I'd probably
This was
be
not
grabbing.
it. No, this was not it.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
tell you that right now.
It
I
wasn't
don't know
something
what
that
it
involved-
was, but it was. Not
I gotta be honest with AEW though, they've gotten better the last couple of weeks.
I've heard actually.
Yeah, they've got a lot of moving pieces right now where I'm like, okay.
Until I saw John Moxley give that DDT to that one.
Oh, Willow
person.
Nightingale, yeah.
I was like,
that was not as bad as the Shafir powerbomb to Willow Nightingale.
I saw that.
Oh,
I saw that.
Marina Shafir should not be on TV. She
I'm not
should
gonna
not
say she
even
shouldn't
be
be on
involved
TV.
in this group.
I listen. I'm not gonna say that. I if she's on TV, I'm okay with it. However, she should not be talking, and she should not be wrestling.
Oh, that liver promo. Oh my god.
Dude, did you see Moxley's face when
Moxley
she said
just
it too?
is like,
He's like, what?
he just walks away.
Because I'm not
all
booked.
right. It's like
Dude,
that's
I was like, what?
it should be Camille. Camille should be in that group.
I agree.
And it's a fucking shame that it's just like she's sitting on the sidelines and she's a great talent. And Marina Shafir, who cut one of the worst promos I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. Instead, you're just like, oh, we'll bring her back and put her in this group. For what? Like,
I mean, it's listen. You have so much talent in a lot of these wrestling promotions over the years, whatever you want to call it, right? If you go back and look at Nitro, just hear me out for a second. You look at Nitro, you have the Nitro girls. They're there to look at. Okay? Everybody back then knew that. Everybody knows that now. Oh, Nitro girls. Yeah, you're there to look at them. That should be Marina Shafir. That's it. She's just there. That's it. It's like Elektra Lopez in LDF. She doesn't wrestle. She's not there to wrestle. You look at Scarlett.
they
Scarlett.
just released her recently.
Yeah, I know. You look at Scarlett, though. Scarlett
Yes.
can wrestle, but right now, she's just there to look at. That should be Marina Shafir. She should not be wrestling, and she should not be talking. That's it. That's it. Like,
You don't know me. You don't know me. Oh my god.
you're right, I don't, because you suck. Like, I just... Get off my television.
Whoever let her have a microphone for that promo should be put up for war crimes. Like, they need to be sent to The Hague for like war crimes, because that is an atrocity to this industry.
A lot of things
Like,
that they do are an atrocity.
yeah, but you know what? I got to give him credit, because that Hangman shit with Swerve last night, that was pretty good.
I was surprised.
That was really good.
I was
And
surprised.
I like Hangman, the reaction that he had, it was just like all the, because you've been in situations like that, which but because you're expecting, and then all of a sudden they say something, you're like, wait, what? What'd you say? You're like, and it just clicks. So I think that Hangman is going to have, this is, if Swerve does not walk out of Dynasty as the champion, they're doomed. They have a chance now.
Yeah.
They have a legitimate chance right now to get the wheels going again, to kind of get things back on the track a little bit. But they need, and I'm fucking telling you now, Tony, if for some reason this gets back to you or somebody, like, for some reason, even if Meltzer's or one of the little cronies or one of the guys that somehow is in your ear, I am telling you all right fucking now, Swerve Strickland needs to walk out as world champion this Sunday night. It needs to happen. That is the only way that you're going to be able to get the wheels on the track, because if you let Moxley hold this thing any longer, it is going to continue to sink. You have momentum right now. Ratings are going up progressively, and now with the latest rumors of, I don't know how accurate they are, but they're claiming that they're getting over 1 million a week now, considering the max numbers. So, which, by the way, the max numbers, that's measuring if you're watching a minute of programming.
Yeah, that's the
That's
problem.
not, we're not talking time, like, where you look at the timing that Netflix has. I don't think Max has that kind of,
I don't know.
I don't know if they have that analytics in their departments.
I mean, they might, but are they going to count it? Is the thing, right? Because Netflix, it's also a live product,
Yes.
whereas HBO Max, whatever, it does have live products as well. But a lot of the time, some of that stuff, they're just measuring the fact that you clicked on it, like you said. So we'll never know.
And HBO, well, also it needs to be discussed because this is kind of, I still cannot believe, well, I can believe that they have decided to remove Looney Tunes from Max.
Yeah, what the hell?
But also this is coming when they're trying to shop it around to see if they can sell it, which there's only one logical place that would end up with this. It's speaking of Disney, you're welcome, by the way. You're welcome for the money I just sent you. The trip is paid for. The
There
trip
you go.
has been paid for. So so they got my money. So it's like, and they're gonna get a lot fucking more come October. Like, it's, yeah. And to be quite honest, and looking at the WrestleMania prices, but looking just at everything in general, especially with, unfortunately, with the key word that's been kicking around lately of the word of the day is tariffs. I feel like things are only going to get harder.
I thought the word of the day was
That too, depending on what country you're in. Yeah, because I'm going to Canada in August, and I'm just like, oh boy, this is gonna be a fun trip. Thank God I'm on a boat, so it's like, oh, we're porting in there. I'm just gonna stay on the boat. I'll see you guys later.
no. You got to go in.
No, I know.
You got to go in. They have federal legality on certain things that you enjoy.
No, I know. No, like, if I can find a place. But I'm hoping there's a duty-free shop anyways where I can get good Cubans. So it's like,
No, that's true too. That's a good point.
and I'll be pretty stocked with, let's just say, there's plenty of like melatonin gummies I'll be bringing with me, because sleep. I have such a hard time sleeping on a ship, because you're rocking back and forth. So it's like I'll need some things to sleep.
I feel like on small boats, yeah, you have to worry about that. I feel like on
I'll need
bigger boats,
I'll need some things to sleep, and I'll also need to. In case I need to relax too, I'll need to take some other things with, like, just put it all in one little container. That'll be a week that I'm probably unzonked because I'll be like, yeah, you know what, I want to sleep.
If they have it again, jeez.
Oh no, we have places. There's several places now that sell it. It's not always. Luckily, last night she was like, I'm running low. I'm like, well, we got to go now because they have it. And because I had a few extra bucks before payday, so I was just like, oh, we better go get it tonight. And of course, payday is today. And, I make my routine stop when I get paid. And it was they were down to like one flavor. So she was just like, well, thank God we got it done last night. But yeah, I mean, it's no one's traveling to the United States from other countries right now. It's like we have become, no one wants to come here.
It's like we're all from Florida now.
Oh my God, it's the worst. It's just, but at the same time, I guess.
Sorry, Florida man.
That's what half the country wanted, I guess. That was their decision.
Yeah, seriously.
And I love, but it is what it is. This is why I love doing this, and I love the escape that wrestling is such like a passion and something where you just. I always think about that robot, not Robot Chicken, but Rick and Morty. That time that the little robot's like, what is my purpose? You pass butter.
You pass butter. Yep.
And it's like, it's so interesting that I was able to find at 7 years old, like what my purpose was. And it was this, like the whole industry and just everything. It like of just being absorbed with it and also being able to turn this into somewhat of a career where it's like I don't still have to grow up. It also helps too, probably, that I don't have children, so I really don't have to be like, I'm responsible, but I don't have to be completely responsible because I don't have children. So, but and it's not like also too where it's like I'm completely anti-children, but at the same time, it does make, because if Steph wants them, and I'm completely open to having them, and I would absolutely love them. But at the same time, it does make life easier when you don't have kids. And going to Disney is also going to be significantly cheaper because I'm not going with, like, I think it's funny seeing friends with their families in Disney and that they're all happy. But then at the same time, it's like, what's the credit card going to be looking like in 2 months?
You know what, Dan? It's not nicknamed the Tragic Kingdom for nothing.
Oh my
either.
God! It's like, and mind you, it's like I honestly think I'm going on a bargain. Like, I keep reminding myself because I think of everybody else and some of the money that they spend on some of these trips, and they just go all out. And it's like, okay, we're not staying at like the key resort. Like, the hotel that we're staying at is on site. So it's like, I don't have to rent a car. We got a meal plan, and we got the Hopper Pass we'll be able to go to all the parks at any time we want. And then I think we have the photography covered. And I still feel like it's just like, this is honestly not that bad. Like, because and especially too with my my brother goes everywhere,
Right.
literally everywhere. So it's like Colombia, Mexico, Puerto Rico, everywhere in the continental United States I could think of. Canada, like Europe, every possible thing, like country he's been able to be in, he's been in. Served a year in Iraq because he's a U.S. Army veteran. But he's just been a complete globetrotter and a world traveler. And I was talking about him on Sunday. I'm like, I'm going to pay off Disney this week. And he's just like, you excited? And I'm like, yeah, because it's like me and Steph have never taken a trip. We've been together over 10 years. We've never taken a long trip like this or like really anywhere. And I think of others that just, they're on a trip like every couple of months. I see them going somewhere. And it's just like, how are you doing all this?
Seriously.
How the hell are you doing all this? My God, like, because it's like, especially my brother, but it's like, good for him. He likes to live in an airport. I don't.
Yeah. For real. Or real. Pass.
Dealing with fucking TSA constantly, it's like, come on. But I guess he's gotten to the point where it's just like they
he
don't.
Probably has that whatever.
Oh, he pays
skip
for.
pass.
He's got pre-boarding, I think, constantly, and then of course he's at that Sky Club because he only flies Delta because he's got so many fucking miles with them, and he's a member of the. So he's also like that movie Up in the Air with George Clooney. I honestly thought was about him. I'm like,
oh, speaking of actors, RIP Val Kilmer, man.
Oh yes, yeah. I was gonna mention that too because I'm like, oh, we got to talk about that because it's just, goddamn. I'm your Huckleberry Val. He's so many great films that he was in, and it's just like low key because I'm like, Real Genius. That was great.
That was great. A lot of people forget about that one, and I used to love that movie growing up.
Oh, it's so good. Like, and it's just and he's so great in it.
He is.
And it's kind of just like one of those underrated kind of 80s movies because it doesn't get like everybody talks about The Breakfast Club. Everybody talks about like 16 Candles. Everybody talks about Back to the Future, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But they never talk about Real Genius. And it's just like, this is a crying shame because this is a damn good flick.
It is. It's 100% a great movie.
He was in that. Of course, he was Iceman.
Yeah.
And yes, the first Top Gun is just like, this really hasn't aged well at all. But Maverick,
What hasn't?
his cameo was really kind of like heartwarming.
Oh.
And it's like, and two, it's just because Val had kind of a reputation at one point, like a really bad one.
Oh, yeah.
Like the stories of like Island Dr. Moreau. I think there was another one with Michael Douglas. He was in a film with him where there was issues. He had issues with Joel Schumacher, which is why he didn't return as Batman. For Batman
let's be
Robin.
real. That he probably shouldn't have, anyways.
Yeah, he's probably thinking, man, I dodged a bullet.
I think he fucking did, honestly.
But it's like he was in The Doors, which was great. And then, of course, you cannot not talk about Tombstone and then Heat, which Heat he's fucking fantastic at. Like, he is, and he barely really talks in Heat. He's just more
he
like,
really doesn't.
But he's so good in it.
He was.
And he was able, there were so many films where he just like dialed it in. Where you're just like, God damn, he's good. And he's also in that elite echelon with me. It's like, if I like you in 5 movies, and he just made it. But also, no, he's actually at 6 because he was in True Romance too as Elvis.
Yeah. I liked him in The Saint too, honestly. I don't think The Saint was the greatest movie out there, but He played Simon Templar very, very well.
Yeah, I mean, he has a good reputation. He has a really good, decent reputation. I think for some of his quality work. I mean, yeah, there were times where it was just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
there was that movie he was playing John Holmes, I think in Wonderland, and that movie was just like, what is this?
I mean, dude, he's had a lot of great movies, but then you look at some of the other ones, and you're just like, why are you in this movie?
Why are you doing this to yourself?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about like that. That's how I feel about like Nicolas Cage at certain points.
Oh
But
God, yeah.
he's actually gotten a lot better as far as some of the quality of work that he's done, like probably in the last like 5 years. Because I really liked Mandy, because it was really a trippy movie, and it was a really good like revenge flick. But it was just also just really trippy, and the cinematography and just how it was shot, and it. I suggest anybody that hasn't seen it to kind of check it out. Then there was Mom and Dad. He's just complete Nick Cage, like rage filled, and it's also one of these movies that if it came out in the '90s, it probably would have been a hit, but it came out like 24, 20, late 2010s.
Oh God.
So you're like, yeah, but, and then I think Pig, and then a few others. It's just like he's really shown that he might be in a project where it's just like, is this even like in his wheelhouse? But at least he's trying. Like that's one thing I could say.
He's
At least you're
so
trying.
much different stuff over the years that it's like it's hard to peg him down. That's what it is for me with Nick Cage. It's like he's in some of these great movies, and then he's in this other movie that it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, granted, we just said that about Kilmer, but Kilmer was like way different, man. Like you could just tell, and like, yeah, Nick Cage, you know, he has like, oh, what were those stupid movies? The National Treasure movies, right?
Yes.
Like those.
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of
Yeah, I'm gonna
Independence.
steal the
Are you?
Like, all right, and then like, okay, cool. So he does those, and then he's in that awful 2009 movie, Knowing, and it's like, bro, what are you doing right now?
I
And
bet you National Treasure is still Sean Bean's favorite movie that he was in because he didn't die in it.
I mean, he got arrested. It's not much.
Yeah, but he didn't die, so
I
it's
get
like,
it.
all
I
right,
get it.
yeah, prison's fine.
Yeah, but
He'd be out by now. So
yeah, true. And you know, dude's in like Grindhouse, okay, but this character, what the fuck?
no, Nick Cage.
Yeah,
He was in the trailer. He was in he was in the trailer, and he was this Fu Manchu.
yeah, it was Fu Manchu, exactly.
It was literally, he was in it for 5 or 10, but that probably, because I was in the theater, I think I was there opening night. That also might have been probably one of the best bang for my bucks for going to a movie, because you're seeing a double feature and you're only paying one price. And two, it's just like there were two excellent fucking movies. And they had these hilarious trailers in the middle of it, and it's just like Nick Cage as Fu Manchu. And that probably got one of the loudest pops of the night. That theater was packed, and that probably got one of the loudest reactions of the night, where everybody was just roaring.
Yeah, dude, I get it, but still. And then, so 2007 was the last National Treasure movies, because I had to pull up IMDb. You know what his one and only movie was in 2008, Dan?
What?
Bangkok Dangerous.
Oh my God. Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was bad. And then in 2009, the first movie in 2009 listed here is Knowing. And that movie was just awful. That was
Wasn't The
awful.
Sorcerer's Apprentice around that time too?
2010.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then whatever. Oh my god, I forgot about this movie. I didn't hate this. I have to actually click on it to see how bad it did. But he also was in a Season of the Witch. 3.8 out of 10. There we go.
Oh, not lower than Snow White, but hey.
Yeah, pretty fucking close though.
Oh my God.
And then he somehow did a second Ghost Rider movie too, because I just didn't think the first one was all that great, anyways. But then, like you said, it seems like, you know, late 20-teens, early 2020s, he has this like little resurgence going on. Just weird, man.
I think he was. I did like Drive Angry. That was
Drive
not
Angry
a bad.
was good. Yeah.
That was not a bad flick. And I'm a sucker for shit like that. Like you put me in like, oh, okay,
Oh
so
god,
it's just
I
like
forgot about Renfield too. Sorry to cut you off. I forgot about that one.
that wasn't
too.
that bad either.
It wasn't bad, but I didn't really
It wasn't
care for
great, but it wasn't bad.
it. Yeah.
Like it's just, yeah. But it's. I thought about tricking stuff so bad with her party. It's like, I was like, "Come on, honey, we're gonna go to the movies." I was just gonna get her tickets to go see Snow White.
Oh my god.
Have you seen a movie that is a complete fucking disaster like this? We've been through a lot of them. We have been through a lot,
Not like this.
like in our
Not
lifetime.
recent memory, anyways.
And this is the worst that I can think of, like ever. Of just like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Really? This is how bad it is? Yeah, this is how bad it is.
It's up there, man. I feel like we probably have, but I feel like the movies that we have seen that are this bad are like direct to video, not something that's actively playing in theaters across the world.
We're talking about, and also the fact that this is the live action
Yeah.
edition of the movie that started the whole empire.
Yeah.
This was the foundation that Walt was able to build his entire real catalog.
All right, hold on a
that-
second. Hold on. I just pulled up IMDb for a second, right? So I think it's important that we talk about this. So for Snow White, there are 306,000 ratings. You ready for the breakdown?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna go not in order of most, but just down from 10 to 1. Okay. So 10. There were 8,200 people that rated it a 10. There was
Okay.
1.1 thousand that rated it a 9. 2,000 at an 8. 2.3 thousand at a 7. 2.2 thousand at a 6. 1.9 at a 5. 1.5 at a 4. 1.8 at a 3. 5.6 at a 2. So, for those not doing the math, the remainder is 280,000 rated this
Oh my
a 1
God.
for 91.3% of the ratings. Of
Now
that,
here's
this is filtered by country, by the way, so I'm not clicking
So
on
this is-
anything. It's just straight how it showed up.
so this is 300,000 votes like total, right?
306,000 total votes. This is actually so I didn't click on any of the
I don't
countries,
think
so this is
I
worldwide.
don't think 200,000 people have seen this fucking movie.
Yeah, I don't think so either, honestly.
So I just think, have you seen the numbers? Like, there's no fucking way that 300 and something thousand, unless, you know, the skit, like, I hate to say
Okay, so
that.
hold on. I just did something else. Okay, so I did Google.
Yes.
Okay, I went to Google first because what I was trying to do when I was there was before I went to Google was still on IMDb, which ironically is what it brought me back to. Try to click on the rating to see if it'll bring up other movies. Okay, I have in front of me lowest rated movies, the bottom 100 as voted by IMDb users. I'm not seeing it here. So I
Not
have
yet.
to figure, well, yeah, sort by rating, sort by IMDb rating. Yeah, that's okay. Or I have to do by the ranking because obviously it's not going to work otherwise. Let me see
Right.
if I can do it by, yeah, IMDb rating. Yeah, it starts at like 3.8 and then it keeps going down. Maybe I have to do it that way. Hold on. Let's find out if this will work this way. Yeah, so it seems like they're ranked and then there's by rating. So if I just do ranking real quick, do you know what the number one movie listed here is? It's not that obviously, but
What is it?
it's a disaster movie.
Oh my God. I think I did go through the bottom 100 list though. And actually, I did this game with Steph last weekend. I'm just like, remember Gigli? Yep. Higher than Snow White. Remember Glitter? Yep. Higher than Snow White. Remember Justin and Kelly? Yep. Higher than Snow White. When she heard that, she fucking laughed her ass off.
Oh, sure.
She could not believe it. Like, this is historic
Okay,
from the standpoint. This is not just from a major, like, this is. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, you're fine. So, what I was gonna say was, so I had to backtrack a little bit here because I don't see it on the list. So maybe you're right. Maybe it's not gonna be here yet. There are, however, lower rated movies. So obviously, again, this is going by rank, but I could filter it down by IMDb rating. That was a 1.6. There are movies here that are 1.2, 1.3. The first two, I don't even know, so I'm not even going to say what they are. 1.3 here, one of the movies that I recognize is Food Fight. Another one at 1.3 is Kirk Cameron's Saves Christmas.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Turks in Space, Cost of Deception, Super Baby Geniuses 2 at 1.5.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Oh. I think
Yeah.
the Emoji Movie is actually higher rated than this.
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah.
My God.
Wow, how dare they? Going overboard, 1.8. How dare they?
Why do you think it's better than a 1.8?
No, not really. I was just kidding. It was ironic because that's actually when Sandler was still kind of funny. Yeah, so 1.2, there's two here at 1.2, so I based on that, I believe these are the lowest rated movies on IMDb by that star rating. So the first one is Smolensk. I don't know what that is. And the other one is Daniel the Wizard. Daniel, do you have something to tell us?
No.
I'm kidding. Dude, it looks bad. It's definitely not an American movie. I can tell you that just by looking at it. Because as soon as I loaded up the picture, is definitely a different language. Maybe like German or Dutch or something. I can't tell. Smolensk is obviously a Russian movie just based on the name. Inspired by the story affected by a 2010 crash of Polish Air Force Flight 101 in Russia.
Oh, boy.
So,
Oh, boy.
Yeah, can't imagine why that was.
Oh, I wonder why that's a low rating.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder.
So it is not the lowest rated on IMDb, but it is definitely.
They invaded our country. Shut the fuck.
Oh my God.
Oh, shit, they're after me.
God. But yeah, RIP Val Kilmer, man, it's tough. Only 65.
It's so, I mean, he battled with I know because he had the trachea, I think, because of he had throat cancer, which brutal, especially when you're an actor and you're also, even though he put on some weight around that, he put on some weight. I remember like the 2010s. I was just like, oh Jesus, what the hell happened? Val,
Yeah.
Val, somebody get a hold of him. You know, also too, one movie I did just buy recently was what is it? Kiss Goodnight, Long Kiss Goodnight with
Something like that, yeah.
Robert with RDJ, which is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like he's just like, do you know what the definition of? Have you ever looked at the dictionary and see the definition of an idiot? You know what they'd see? Picture of me? No, the definition of a fucking idiot, which you exactly are.
Oh God.
It's I think we barely touched on wrestling because we've been all over the place tonight. Of course,
We really have.
yes, but
It's been a week, but I guess the one thing I would say is it's like we're still like, despite being like 2-3 weeks out, it's like it still feels like some of these storylines are just only now starting to kick up.
yeah, I feel like we have been on simmer or
Yeah.
like we've just been preheating the oven now, and now it's just like, oh, we're just putting the shit in the oven now. Like it's still though it's got a ways to bit here, but we still have to make sure that and it's just there's only after SmackDown tomorrow because again we record on Thursdays. It's 2 weeks. That's it, and it's just like it's
Yeah.
going to go in a blink of an eye. And it's also so much intrigue in this because yes, this has been a very, at certain points, a very lackluster kind of road. At certain points, I've just been like, are they even trying? And after this past week, and after last some of the things that have been gone on the last week or two, I feel like at least that things are finally starting to be put in a positive and right direction.
You
I
know
do
what it
not.
is? I
Oh,
think it's just
sorry.
so no, it's I just I think it's because the road is especially coming out of Elimination Chamber so long. Like, how do you keep up that same kind of level of intrigue when you already have those main stories? Like, we did need to wait for that cage match with Punk and Rollins for Roman to come back, and I get that. But for the others, like Jey Uso and Gunther, it's like, how do you build that for so long? Right? With Cena, he's out of the country, then they're in Europe and they have the shows and all that stuff. And I completely understand all that. But it just feels kind of like what you're saying. Like, we're going to turn the heat on, but we're just going to simmer for a while. Maybe let it get to a boil finally, like 2-3 weeks out. And then we'll actually start putting the food in. It's just, I get it, but the simmer for me has kind of left it a little stale, honestly. And I kind of hope that the next couple of weeks, like you said, after this week, you have 2 weeks left. It's like you got to really start pushing. And two of those things that I kind of want to see moving forward is, are they actually going to put, you know, Lyra Valkyrie and Bailey in a continental match at WrestleMania? And then what the fuck is the plan for Chelsea Green? Because it seems like they don't know what the hell to do with her at this point, even though she's got the U.S. title. It's just, yeah, you have these top echelon stories that you've booked out at this point, but what about the rest of the card? That's my issue.
Well, I think one of my bigger issues right now, and it's something that I've noticed, and unfortunately, as time has gone on, I feel like that the Jey Uso push, because of Jay's, I feel like the pressure's starting to get to Jay. And he's been sloppy. And you're seeing it in his work, which is starting to become, I feel like, it's somewhat of an issue where it's just like, and this is not the time to be kind of, and also too, he's coming off of a WrestleMania last year where it's just like, he kind of stunk out the joint, kind of.
I don't think that was his fault, though. He didn't help the situation, but I don't think it was his fault.
I just, but I'm looking at it from this now, and I'm just like, I kind of would just have Gunther retain.
It's tough. Yeah.
I get it. I get it. I get everybody's sentiments with Jay. There's a good portion of the public that wants it to happen. But I feel like that the last few weeks, and I feel like he hasn't done enough for me to confidently say he can carry the load. The next 2 weeks he could change that, but I feel like looking at him now, I'm just like, I don't know if he's going to be able to carry that load and do it long term.
What's that phrase? What's that phrase again? Oh yeah, transitional champion.
Yeah, I feel like yes, yes. I feel like there's the chase. He's a better chaser than he is going to be a champion, and I feel like that people need to kind of, and I understand, the yeet thing's big, and I get it, but it's not working. It's just something's like not kicking. And I mean, they did a great job trying to make people care more this past week. I'm going to give them props on that because they really made this match that much hotter.
Yep.
But I don't know. I'd be leaning towards keeping the belt on to Gunther.
I mean, listen, right? Objectively, it's so hard to really sit here and quantify my feelings about this because on SmackDown you have the contract signing and Paul Heyman's just like you're main eventing WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So if my math is right here, this is the first time that the Royal Rumble winner has not main evented night 1 or night 2 of WrestleMania. And before anybody says anything, Drew McIntyre did not win WrestleMania or the Royal Rumble last year. Excuse me. He won Elimination Chamber to face Seth Rollins.
Correct.
So he didn't need to necessarily main event. So where now does this fall on the card? Is it a co-main event maybe with night 1 and you could stretch it that way? Is it co-main event at night 2 when you have back-to-back title matches? I think it's shitty in the sense that you don't have the Royal Rumble winner for the first time in 41 years not main eventing WrestleMania. But to your point, it's like how can you, right? You have John Cena and Cody Rhodes, and you have Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk on the other night.
They did there have been instances, though, where the Royal Rumble winner have not headlined the show. Perfect example was 2011 with Edge and Alberto Del Rio. That was the opener. So there have been instances, and also we look at the following year's WrestleMania 28, where Sheamus won the Royal Rumble. He opened the show with Daniel Bryan. And so it has happened. It has historically happened in the past. But since this night one and night two kind of have been established, so this is like the first time, I think, since 2020 that any Royal Rumble winner is not going to be main eventing any of the first two nights. But when you have Roman Reigns involved in a match, it should be main eventing the first night. It's a shame that he's not involved in the championship picture, but
Give it
is
3
what
or
it
4
is.
months.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, he should be the one to beat Gunther, but
Listen, I agree. I 100% agree.
but we it's hard to kind of put into words the right words to say. I understand Jay's frustration and I understand Charlotte's frustration, but at the same time, you have to understand that you're dealing with much bigger players at play. You're dealing with Roman Reigns, who is the headliner for the company. He's the guy that kind of has brought the attention back to the industry as far as pop culture relevance is concerned. Then you have Cody, who is carrying the ball with Roman to kind of lead this company and keep it on the tracks as much as it has, and he's done a fine job with it. And he is going up against a guy that was the guy of the previous generation in his final year. And this is kind of his going away present, even though it's like when you have 16 world title reigns and all this stuff, it's like, do you really need a fucking going away present? Let's face it.
I
Give him a gold watch. God.
Cody probably brought him to watch anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
I just for Charlotte, I feel a certain way at this point. It's we talked about with Gold Standard a couple weeks ago about some of the talent that they just kind of shove at you, and that's how I felt about Charlotte for a while at this point. Now you bring her back. Yeah, you put her against Tiffany. That makes the most sense. Don't get me wrong. But it just feels like any chance that there is, they're just going to shove it at her. And, I don't think she's a bad heel, obviously. I think she could be a great foil as a heel to Tiffany's now babyface character. I don't hate it. It's just a scenario where it's like, I also don't care about it, right? And yeah, you had the brawl the last couple of weeks, and I'm all here for that. But now you're having her face B-Fab, and God, I can't remember her name right now, and I don't know why. That's gonna bother me. But Mi-Chen, you have her face the two of them the last couple of weeks, and it's just like, why do we need to give Charlotte Flair fodder at this point? Why? Like, what good is the fodder doing? It's not doing anything. Okay, yeah, she's gonna beat both of them. We already knew that going into
Easily.
this. Yeah,
Like, it's especially true how they're trying to make her sympathetic with. She did a recent interview talking about her divorce.
I
with
failed
Andrade.
again.
It's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares that you and Andrade. Like, it was the thing. Nobody gave a shit. If Becky and Seth Rollins broke up, yeah, people would be upset. But it would be
want to kill Seth too. Honestly,
oh, they would. They'd be like, "You piece of shit."
Yep.
But like, not really. With no, like, I don't think people like really give a shit. Like
because
they moved on, or just never really cared about Charlotte as much as people thought. Like, I'm not going to say she was John Cena, but she's kind of John Cena in the sense of they just kept shoving her down our throats. It's like, all right, we get it. I'd rather root for Bailey. I'd rather root for Becky. Not so much Sasha, but
didn't see that coming at all. Listen, like I get it though. Like for me, I don't hate Charlotte Flair. It's just the way they utilize her, and the arrogancy of the character probably is a little bit of a helpful point here too. It's like I don't care. I'm not invested. If the the other problem for me is this, right? At this point, whether she's had the title or not, going into WrestleMania and then at WrestleMania, Tiffany Wolf fought 3 out of the 4 horsewomen. She's already fought Bailey, not with a title. Excuse me.
yes,
She's already fought Becky Lynch for the NXT title. Now she'll be facing Charlotte Flair. So my argument is this, because I don't know how this is going to go. But if you don't put Tiffany over at this point, I feel like that is just a massive injustice.
it's got to be Tiffany. If you want to go with Charlotte, it's just again you're thinking for what reason? Like for what reason does Charlotte need this? Because she doesn't need this. She doesn't need this at all. Tiffany needs this. Tiffany, you have a chance now. Okay, another top star for this women's division. Oh yeah, she's young enough that she can carry the ball for the next decade. But we're going to give it to Charlotte again? For what?
Charlotte is going to be 39 in 2 days.
Yes. And God knows how long she's got left in the tank.
Depends on that leg at this point.
It depends on the leg. You have to think about with Charlotte. 39 years old. Already has injuries kind of piling up. You wonder how much is left in the tank. And also, if she's going to get bored with this stuff. Even though I feel like Becky, I feel like could go to Hollywood. Right? And she could make
that's where she is right now. So.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, but she has that to fall back on. I don't know what Charlotte does. Like Bailey, same thing. But Bailey, I think, is just she doesn't have anything to fall back on because she just loves it so much. Charlotte, I don't know. I don't know what else is in her kind of realm of things to do. Like,
I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe her and her dad can go to bars and stuff and just, I don't know.
No comment. Who ran? Yeah, I just think it's tough, but I just going back to the comment that triggered this initially. It's like I get it about the complaining about your spot and where you're gonna fall on the card and everything, but it's like you have these top talents already vying for those positions. You could make the argument about Jay maybe complaining about it too, but I don't really think he is either, honestly. I think he probably even realizes it. And, I just, we talked about earlier, we'll talk about it again here for a second, but like, the whole Bianca and Io and Rhea thing, it's like, where does that go? Where does that fall in the card too? Because honestly, like we kind of said before, like it's not a good look. It doesn't look good right now. So you have, just say that the top four titles on the company. I almost said the brand. That's why I paused. But you have the top four titles that you need to figure out where they're going to land on the card. One of them obviously is going to main event because it's freaking John Cena, kind of like you mentioned. Then you have this whole triple threat with Punk and Rollins and Reigns, obviously. We still don't know what's going to happen at WrestleMania for either of the Intercontinental titles, men's or women, either of the US titles, men's or women. We do know we're getting Logan Paul and AJ Styles finally. They confirmed that finally. And then there's the tag titles, which on SmackDown, like I said before, really should just be a ladder match at this point with all five teams. And then I don't know what's going on with the Raw tag team titles. I don't know.
Looks like New Day and the Viking Raiders.
Like,
Well, I mean the War Raiders, excuse me.
That should not be a WrestleMania, but whatever. I'm not going to keep going there. But, you know, maybe Big E comes back and screws him. I'll enjoy it then if that happens. But it's just, you have a lot to try to make on the card, and you're not there yet. And even at 2 days, that's a lot. That's a lot of matches. And you've already got some matches, like I said, with Logan Paul and AJ Styles, with the triple threat between the three that I already mentioned prior. Then you have all those titles that you're probably going to want to try to make it on WrestleMania. So what's not going to happen? What are we not going to get? What could we get that we maybe should have got? And also, you know, we already mentioned it earlier too, but you've also got the 9-title match with Drew and Damian Priest. So does that now drop a title match? It's just, there's so much, and there's so many moving pieces, and right now we only know what we know. And some of those storylines are finally starting to pick up, and it's like, I'm curious what's going to get dropped. Because maybe we missed something really truly special.
It is concerning because there are a lot of moving parts that I'm sitting here and I'm just like, okay, where are we going here, guys? Where are we going? Yes, some things are obvious. And then there's other things I'm just sitting here and I'm like, what the fuck you doing? Like, why is this not going? Like, why are we doing this again? Why do we think this is going to work? And that's been the hard part at times, and I get it. I get it. I get it completely. Where you want to try to get the people that you feel like that's going to make something meaningful, and that's a hard part trying to figure out because not everybody's going to be happy. Not everybody's happy about the Jey Uso thing. People are still pissed off about it, and they just keep pointing out flaws. But the problem is that that sentiment is now starting to grow louder and louder because Jey is having issues, and I feel like that maybe the weight of everything is starting to kind of come down on him a little bit. Kevin Nash was talking about it. Like it's hard because I want Jey to be able to have a moment for himself where it's just like, but at the same time, I don't know if I want to be able to sacrifice Gunther again because he lost big last year against Sami Zayn when he was the longest reigning Intercontinental. But everything's being set up where it's just like, we got to do this. Because
hold on a second. So let me ask you a question real quick. Because I mentioned this before with potentially drafting, right? And again, I don't even think the brand split matters at this point. But still, we'd still throw that in the mix here. Who's to say that they just don't put him on SmackDown after and have him face Cody?
Are we talking Jay or are we talking Gunther?
Gunther.
Yeah. That's a positive, but because I don't know what Cena's schedule is going to look like either. So that's kind of the problem that I'm dealing with, because I don't know if this Cody and Cena thing is going to be more than one. So
I just think, listen, Cena's not going to get drafted anywhere.
No.
Right? And again, assuming drafts don't matter, because really they haven't lately, again. But why not just put him on Raw and have him face Shane? Jay can drop the title as the transitional champion. And then you free up another CM Punk and John Cena. Or you free up another Roman Reigns versus John Cena. And that might be more engaging, and have Cody and Gunther feud for a little bit.
Or Randy Orton.
Or Randy, like you said.
Randy
Or
Orton,
Drew.
John Cena.
Or Drew.
Yeah, Drew and John Cena would be fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of matchups that, and everybody's like, oh, CM Punk, yeah. Somebody mentioned to me this week, they said Randy Orton ending John Cena's career. I'm like, I feel like the guy that ends John Cena's career.
Dude, Akira
should
Tozawa could end John Cena's career, and I wouldn't be disappointed.
I know. But I also feel like the guy that beats John Cena in his last match should be somebody like up and coming that's meaningful. And you got to make it meaningful. Yeah, exactly. Like Braun Breaker. You're right. You're 100% right. That actually makes complete sense.
I think he's. It just seems like this is the way they're going to go, but I would not be surprised if it's Finn Balor and
Braun Breaker.
Braun Breaker, actually.
I've heard a triple threat match, but I don't know with.
Want that.
But I also don't know with Ray Phoenix probably coming in with it. I guess he's coming in this week.
Yeah, it should be on SmackDown. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's going to be like the new. If they're going to put Ray and Penta together, because I've heard Penta again being in that match. I don't know though if that's going to be the way that they're going to do it, or if it's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've heard Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio being involved in the match, which might be a good idea because they've been building this tension between where then Dominic now will have his third heel turn.
Yeah, two of his heel turns at that point will have been when he was already a heel. So
it's like, how is this even? How do you turn heel 3 times? And you're still a heel.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. How do you do 2 heel turns? Because this will be the second one as a heel, right? First one was Liv, obviously, and then this one will still be Liv, but choosing Liv over now Finn Balor versus Rhea Ripley. Obviously, it's like
just when you thought he was a piece of shit, he gets even shittier.
Yeah, just when you thought he was a piece of shit, he became an even bigger, larger piece of shit.
Yeah, and it's just this. It's truly, you have to be a special talent to be able to pull that off. Let's face it, like that's a rarity in the industry, to just be like turn heel 3 times.
But so let me ask you a question then. Let me ask you a quick question then. So if they turn him heel and he betrays Finn Balor, what happens when freaking JD McDonough gets back? Is he then a face? Like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, because JD McDonough can never, with that head, he can never be a face.
I mean, he can, but he's a more natural heel.
It's the worst head I've ever seen in my life. Next to the mannequin head.
You know what? I was just thinking the same thing. Like, wait a minute, let's call Al Snow about that one.
Actually, no, that head is more over than JD McDonough ever is.
I mean, no shit.
Like, the only reason people are like, oh, JD's like, yeah, because he got hurt with that thing. I mean, that moonsault. That was pretty rough, but like at the same time, I was like,
It wasn't just his fault, though.
it's Shady McDonough. Like that was my.
I mean, listen,
reaction.
man, it's kind of like the whole Cody thing for me with the Torn Peck. Like he earned my respect after that. 'Cause
Yeah.
dude
No, I get
wrestling
it.
with a puncher long at that point.
He did earn my respect from the standpoint of that. Yeah, like you toughed it out. Like Triple H when he tore his quad type category. Like stuff like that, where it's just like, all right, you kept going. So from that perspective, yeah, I agree. I earn my respect. I just, I don't get his appeal.
I think he's good. I don't. I think he's good. I think he's a good heel. Obviously, he's
To me, it's
beaten-
like, oh, he's just another Finn Balor.
dude. I mean, Finn Balor is not taking like these bionic punches with a freaking Super Bowl ring. He's not getting punctured lungs. Like I don't know. Like he's kind of earned my respect over the last couple of months since he got obviously injured, but also before that as well.
Right.
But yeah, I get it. Like he's not everybody's cup of tea. He's a little bit smaller of a guy too. But I just I look at Dom and Dom's Dom's appeal I feel like is more the shit he does and says versus his in-ring ability, but
Well, he doesn't. The thing about with his career is though he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to kill himself in the ring because it's like he just needs to, which is the old trick. It's like you don't have to do shit. He just has to walk out there, and it's just like they fucking hate me. And where before it was like, even when he was a babyface, I couldn't deny the fact that he was a good in-ring performer. I just didn't think he had any confidence in himself. Which
True.
now I feel like he has the confidence in himself.
that's fair. I'll give you that.
And it's just, he always lacked confidence. That was his biggest thing. I felt like as a performer, the Thunderdome era, I thought he did great in because the fans weren't around.
Yep.
So he just kind of was able to just be like, okay. As soon as the fans came back, though, it was like he was a deer in a headlight at certain moments. But as soon as he turned heel, the switch went on, and he just became a different performer, a much better performer, a more seasoned performer, and he ran with it. And if he wins the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania, I'm not going to hate it. Like I'm not going to sit here and poo-poo it because it's just the kid's earned my respect.
I mean, if that happens, he's gonna win it off somebody else. He's not gonna pay Breaker. I feel like,
Probably not.
but we'll see.
Probably not. But
We'll
what can you
see.
do?
Yep. Exactly.
I feel like tonight has just been like a whirlwind,
Yeah, because it has.
and especially how things started. And I know Steph kind of threw her comments in and that stuff. I appreciate the sentiments at the beginning, the comments. I still feel that you didn't have to, but I appreciate it and I understand why. But at the same time, it's like I don't. It's not an offense to, in my opinion, where it's just like I'm going to completely just disown him. Like it's not me. And I've been involved in situations like that of my own doing. I regret them, but at the same time, I regret how I handled the situation instead of. It's obvious that the relationship wasn't working. I just needed to handle it in a better way.
Well, this was different.
Yes, completely.
I think that it probably could have been worked on, but I did not see that, for a variety of reasons, but also the fact that this was somebody that I really cared about, that I let things go, and I should have been communicating those things and trying to work on them, and just I didn't, and I made stupid decisions because of that.
I think there's a whole bunch of listeners also, though, too, will completely understand the situation you're in.
Well, that's kind of why I made the decision, first of all, to not only talk about it, even though we're not really directly saying what was said and done and everything, but I also thought it was important to first of all get it out there because I felt it was the right thing to do. I also feel that, again, and I said this before, like doing this in this format and how I did it, people are gonna have opinions, and you all are entitled to that. And I think some people will maybe learn from it because at the end of the day, as much as everything I have said tonight has been truthful and factual, I I need to be clear. Like, yes, I want to try to repair things. I want to try to make things right, and I've committed to that, and I've committed to trying to be a better person all around. Not just with this, but just in life. And I said that before. I'm committed to a sustainable long term change because that's the right thing to do. And it's never not going to be the right thing to do. And if I get zero opportunity to try to make things right and that's it, then so be it. That's unfortunately a very common side effect to things that have happened. And that would suck, but I'm committed at least to trying.
My friend, to me, you were always perfectly
You're
imperfect.
not helping, but thank you.
No, shut up. I'm just trying to at least say, hey, like
I
it had,
I
we
will
all,
say what you were going to say for
yes,
you.
yes,
You are happy with the fact that I am seeing the wrongs that I did. You are happy with the fact that I am proactively trying to do something about it, even if it might be too late. And you are hopeful for me that it's not. And you don't condone what I did, and you are not happy about what I did. But at the end of the day, you are still my friend, and you still care about me. Did
yes.
I more or less get that right?
That is ultimately
Okay.
yes, because it's just hard for me to put words together with it because it's just again, I try to keep things lighthearted and not try to throw out some random dick joke out there instead of just
Well, I mean, we could throw out the WWE chant of "You fucked up," because I did, but
I mean we could, but again, like it's just eh. Like I think that time heals all wounds. Um, might take a while, but at the same time, I think it just
well, if it takes a while, I will say this. First of all, I apologize for cutting you off, but I time can heal a lot. Might not heal everything, and if anybody was paying attention to what I said before, I be not just because of what happened, but just in general. I still love and care about this person, and I do hope at some point that can happen. If it can't, that's on me, and I fully understand that. But I also feel that what you just said, Dan, is true. Like time can heal a lot of different things, and it's going to take a lot of patience from both parties to get to that point. And you can't rush change. You just can't. And I have not only learned that because of this, but just over the last couple months of kind of working through my guilt of the situation before it came out and now especially after. So I am committed to that if this takes a while, it takes a while, and that's okay.
Well, I feel like this should get like an Emmy or something, maybe a consideration for like an after school special or something. I feel like we've done God's work today with this episode to kind of, and I completely came into this and I'm just like, how am I going to do this? And then you all of a sudden just like, well, all right, we're talking about it.
It was gonna come up anyways.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
You maybe worse, but I remember the last time something like this happened, and all that was said was, "You're public enemy number one," and that was how we started the show. And
Oh yeah, that was though.
and I'm still public enemy number one, fucking 6 months later, basically. So,
Well, you know how I was going to start the program with and you would have. I don't know whether you would have wanted to punch me or you would have just started burst out laughing. And you would have put the mic on. I was literally going to start the program with, "Well, that went well. Good evening."
see, it's hilarious that you say that because as you were talking, I really had the sense that that's exactly what you were to say.
Yep.
So this week, well, that went well.
Yeah,
and I felt like that would have happened for sure.
It was on my mind, and then when you talked to me before, and you're just like, I have this, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to do that then because I want to make this, I want to make it as genuine as possible and not throw in my candor and my my offbeat comments that 6 people will get. That was one of my finest comedic timing moments. Like, I feel like Bobby Heenan would have just been proud because I literally rim-shotted that so perfectly.
I don't even think that person was out of the car 5 seconds when you said it either. I think I had just literally pulled away from her house. And that's what you said. And I'm like, shit. I can't even be mad.
But everybody in the fucking car just started, like, just... Because everybody was dead quiet. It was the quietest car ride I've ever been on in my life.
Nobody knew what to say. And that...
So then I just said it. I'm like, well, that went well.
Oh, good God.
And everybody just started dying.
That was great.
Even you too, because you were so mad.
I was.
You were so mad. And then I just literally within seconds just broke you where you're like, God damn it. No, I can't be mad. I'm like,
by the way, this is a completely different situation from those actually like, wait, what?
No. Yeah, this is fucking 20 years ago, folks.
Yeah,
come on.
that is 20 years
This is
ago.
20 years ago what I'm referencing, and it's just like this inside joke of whenever we're involved in an uncomfortable. I think it was right when I just moved out after getting separated, and I think I called you, and the first words I said to you, I said, "Well, that went well."
Yeah. Yeah.
First night, my apartment, when I was finally able, because like, even when you're getting your breakup, separated, or whatnot, you don't want to talk on the phone with people around them because you just don't. And so I had to wait to finally tell him everything. And so it was like that first call. I was just like, well, not even hello. It's just, well, that went well. Like,
yeah. Yep.
Oh, and it's just, yeah. So I've again, so I at least sympathize you there. It's just like, yeah, I there are some moments of like, yep, I get it, and I I think you're proving a lot of things by coming out and making it public, which
Well, public-ish. I'm not.
public-ish, but at least you're
I have to
acknowledging,
do what's right
yeah,
for me,
yes,
and I doing that in the context of a public apology, even though, you know, listen, if that person listens, they listen. I have no reason to believe that they will. Well, maybe they do, and maybe they're like, holy shit. And listen, I think that'd be great. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, though, and I have no aspirations that it will, or no uh, thought that it will. I just don't. But if it
I'll
does,
probably get back
great.
to them. So yeah,
It probably will, but
Yeah.
that's fine. But I I feel that's the right thing to do. I feel like we have built up a following on this show enough that I feel confident that people understand what's been going on a little bit.
I'm gonna get a text later from Dave. He's gonna be like, "You guys working this? What the fuck's going on?"
Yeah. Dave, I'll let you know, man. It's not good news though. But the other thing is this: I have to do what I feel is right, and addressing it publicly or not is for me the right thing to do. But also, I feel that what I said before about people that want to change. Listen, there are so many people out there that want to change one way or the other, right? People want to lose weight. People want to be a better person. People want to, you know, learn a new skill. And what I'm trying to change might not be what you're trying to change, but my message about not giving up on that change, I mean it. I really do. Because I could let this affect me in a way that is incredibly toxic, not effective for anybody, and just I could get mad about it. I could get really mad about this situation because it sucks. It does. Let's be real. This sucks. But I meant what I said, that I instead try to look at this as a challenge, right? I have first of all I have to know what I want, and what I want is exactly what I said before. I want things to be right. I want to build that trust back up. I want to try to alleviate some of the hurt that I've caused. But I feel that getting mad about it doesn't help anybody. It just makes the situation worse. And it just proves that I haven't changed. And I could be frustrated and I could give up. But that's not the right thing to do either. I want to change. So, another thing I will just say, since we're on the topic of change, I have dropped 30 pounds in 2 months because I want to change that too. That's a lot of fucking weight to lose in 2 months. That requires a lot of effort. That requires a lot of changes that I realized I had to make, both dietary and exercise. Don't give up on the changes that you want to make. Change is not going to be easy.
And to think, I thought it was meth.
It was just not eating fucking shit food all the time. Then it was meth. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It wasn't meth. It's crystal. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't.
It was ecstasy.
I could have kept that going, but no, I didn't do any drugs. A lot of
Fentanyl,
caffeine,
I knew it.
a lot of caffeine, maybe. I don't drink anymore, and
Not drinking less either.
yeah, no, I drink less too. Listen, you of all people know that the drink was an important part of my life.
Oh,
I was
You don't-
never hold on. I will say
Oh.
this. I don't think I would ever call myself an alcoholic, but I was probably a step away. I also did stop drinking as much as they did when I was living with that person who I unfortunately hurt. But now, the last time I had a drink was with them probably 2 months ago, and before that, it was probably over a month. So if you don't count that one single drink I had at lunch with them one day, it's been a month since I've actually drank.
I'll say that.
I'll drink to that, yeah.
No,
I'm kidding, I know.
No, what I was going to say is I'm extremely proud that throughout this whole situation that you did not go to that hole of that.
I had to do a lot of things during this situation.
No, but I was concerned that yeah, you were gonna make a run to the Packy, and I was like, oh no. And I thought I would have to call Billy and be like, well, we need to go to his place and crash it.
No,
So
I'm committed to change. I
no,
don't
that's
that shit, whether it be the alcohol or these mistakes, to continue to define anything else that I do.
that to me proved that I was just like, yeah, he's gonna be all right. Yeah, because they're
Well, listen, I'm not going to say some of the stuff that we've talked about, but you asked me a question around the time that this came to light, right? And I told you I was going to think about it and not answer you. Because I felt that if I gave you an answer to the question that you asked, that I'm not going to repeat on the show, that is one thing that I will keep closer to the chest. I told you I needed time to think about that answer because I felt it would have been ridiculously disingenuous to answer the question when you asked it. I came back to you after a week and I said, yes, that's what I want. Because it's the truth. Because I thought about it. Because I am not going to be the person that's going to be just ruled by these stupid mistakes or by the booze or by anything else. I need to commit to changing. And part of that is understanding what I want. And everything that I've said tonight, I think if you read between the lines of the mistake, of whatever else, you might be able to figure it out. And if you do, great. Great. I don't really care. Yes, I fucked up. Yes, I made mistakes, but I'm committed to changing those things around. I'm committed to trying to do the right thing. I'm committed to trying to make up for it, even if I don't get the chance to, or even if it takes my entire fucking life to do so. I would love a granular chance, even, to just be able to do that. And if I can't, that's on me. That's nobody's fault but my own. But if I can, that would be through hard work, that would be through effort, and that will be through those changes that I've mentioned, including realizing what I really want and what makes me happy. And as much as it sucks that it took so long to figure that out, well, like I said, here we are.
I know. Like I get it. And um you know, I get it. I get it completely. I really don't know how to kind of This is one of those programs I was just like, if it's discussed or mentioned, did this, because I don't mind going deep, but at the same time, it's like there are times I mind going deep, and it's I it's more or less because I'm almost like a loss for words at certain points because it's just
Yeah,
we've
but
been
hold
so
on.
heavy with this tonight.
We have, but
But I'm just not talking about like the heaviness of it. I'm talking about like the heavy of the subject matter.
no, I know what you
You
meant.
know,
But I we haven't. We haven't. We
I
started
know.
with it. We're ending with it. You know,
Yes,
it's not like it's dominating the whole conversation. It's dominating a good chunk. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but you know,
it's about
we've
the subject matter more. Is what I meant,
yeah, but
which I'm fine with.
this isn't like I'm not going to make the comparison, so you could probably think of a few. I'll say it that way, right? And I walking into this, I had to do the recording earlier because if I had to talk about it to open the show, I would have been a mess. I don't think I would have been able to continue.
Hmm.
And I'm able to do it now because of the fact that I was able to do that, number one. But also, I'm going to be a little bit honest here. I am confident in my change enough that yeah, I can be emotional. I can display a little emotionality from it, but it's because of that confidence, because of the fact that I am willing to do what I can, because of the fact that I'm gonna say it this way, despite the context. I'm a little proud of myself that I am doing this period because honestly, it takes fucking balls, man. It really does. I could sit here and try to shove this under the rug, and we don't have to talk about it. I could be a blubbering mess, which I could probably be 5 seconds away from anyways. But I think I am also, despite the fact that it's a shit conversation, despite the fact that it's a really shitty situation, I'm I'm really proud of myself for putting myself out there and trying to elicit change both in myself and in other people. Because again, maybe there are people out there that listen to this and hear it and are like, well shit, Mac done fucked up, but he's trying to do something about it. And that gives me a little bit of hope too. It does. I don't know what the future's gonna hold. Nobody does. But I can still try to do the right thing no matter what. And that's now the goal.
The only thing I know about the future is death, but that's it.
Oh,
I don't know when it's
thanks
going to
for
come,
that, bud.
but I'm just saying, like it's guaranteed, folks. Come on.
Boo ran.
It's I have to
No, we're at that point. I agree.
I have to commend you. No, I do. I have
Oh.
to commend you at least though for at least coming on and making my job a little easier too.
I didn't
Because
do the right
tonight it
thing.
was just like I was gonna have to. I was like, how am I gonna dance tonight? Like, how am I gonna do this? Like, I'm just like the whole time, and I'm like, no, it's not gonna work.
I mean, you
But
could have, but I didn't feel right about that. Number one, because I knew that's probably what would have happened too. But also, like I said, I had to come in and do the right thing, both just for the situation, for the changes I have tried and am currently still trying to make, and just I need that person to know if they do listen that yeah, I fucked up. Yeah, I made mistakes. I know I did, but I'm willing to try to make up for them as much as I can.
and we got to put this out there that we're all wrestling fans, folks. That's why we're the host of this program. So we're always, we have to look at it as our favorite wrestling company and saying when they fuck up that they put it out there. Like that's what ECW did. They always were like, yeah, we fucked up, but we'll make it right. And they always made it right. Unless you were a talent, they didn't pay you. But still, like to the fans at least, they always made it right. And I feel like with this, it's a first step in the right direction.
Agree.
And I definitely see a change in the fact of that you did not. The big thing for me was I'm like, okay, he did not pick up a bottle because
it's funny. It didn't even cross my mind.
That was the worry.
It didn't even cross my mind, and that, you're saying you see the change already, and that too almost got me. It didn't even cross my mind, and that for me is how I know.
Yeah.
Because you're right. If this was 7, 8, 9, even those years ago when I was with that person, I probably would have if it was something like this. If it was 10, 15 plus before I had even met them, yeah, I definitely would have. It wouldn't have even been a thought. And the fact that it wasn't a thought to pick up a bottle this time shows me that I've changed. And that is just as important as somebody else seeing it, truthfully.
Yeah. And I think that's where we're going to leave this tonight.
God, I hope so.
Luckily, we won't have to talk about this again. Like this.
Yeah, you say that.
Not like. Well, it's like I'm saying publicly at least. Now it's like back to our regularly scheduled programming next week, which we might have a guest next week. We might not. That is yet to be determined. Still have to think, because the thing about it is, it's like I hate advertising guests because you'd never fucking know. Like
I trust this one, but I don't blame you.
Yes, so it's just, and it's a biggie. So it's like I hope at least. So it's one of those deals of okay, like we're ready. Hopefully it's going to happen. Hopefully it's going to be something that everybody's going to be like, holy shit again. But at the same time, with the way this industry is, the way that this seems to ebbs and flows, who knows? We might be talking about the road to WrestleMania. But at least in 2 weeks when our big show, we're going to be really talking about everything, which we hope at that point a lot of things are more in place than they are now. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for tuning in to the After School Special and Families in Crisis here on HBO.
Hey, better than House of the Dragon.
That's true. It's better than Snow White, too.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Hey, Rock! Go fuck yourself! Hey, Rock! Go fuck yourself!